of your business. Okay, so it's where everything once you have your business structure, we're now going to build on top of that. So when you're starting out, no matter how small you are, you want to make sure that you're forming your business like it's Walmart. Okay, we're at a music conference, so we don't know, when our song's going to hit. We don't know when we're going to become, a Grammy awarded artist. We're going to have a world tour. So we want to make sure that everything is set up correctly from the beginning. So the first thing you want to make sure you have is going to be your corporate structure, which would be your LLC or your EIN. LLC or EIN. LLC or corporation. You want to make sure you have a business address so that your personal address is not on the World Wide Web. And then you want to also make sure that the address for your registered agent is an updated address where you can receive correspondence to. Your business structure is also going to help you get business funding. So you can either start with business grants if you want money, to help you start your business, grow your business. You don't have to pay it back. Business grants. Also, where you can start to establish business credit. But if our structure is not together, it's going to impede us from growing as a business.
Okay. That's good to know. Now, we're looking ahead. Are there any new laws that business owners need to be aware of that's coming in the new year?
Everyone's talking about this corporate act. It's just letting the federal government know that you own an LLC. Everyone, except for about 4 different states, we already let our state know that we own the LLC. So it's just going to be going like a step further and just letting the federal government know that you are a member of an LLC. That is the only new law when it comes to entity structures.
Okay. With music and song being assets for artists and songwriters, how should these assets be protected and they be used for leverage for funding?
So, if you're an artist, you want to form your LLC for you as performing, that would be one LLC. But we don't want to do business. We don't want to do business with an LLC that owns an asset. Okay, so if you were to write a song, so you would have some copyright, right? Or if you were to trademark your name or trademark a name of a song, that should be held in a separate entity. Okay, so that will be held in a holding company. So you would apply for the trademark, apply for the copyright in your holding company's name. That way, if you're an artist, maybe we're having a contract dispute with your label and they're trying to sue you, they can't, and let's just say they sue you and they win. They can't come and take your trademark. They can't come and take the copyrights to the songs that you've written. So your assets are protected. Now, as far as leveraging your assets for business credit, I would say, why do you want to leverage them? When it comes to establishing business credit, if we default on the loan, so if we get a line of credit, we get a loan from the bank. If we default on it, well, then now we're going to lose our trademark or our copyright. So there are ways of establishing business credit that we don't have to link it to an asset. We can also apply for business grants for business funding, but I personally wouldn't advise linking your copyright, your rights and a trademark for business funding in case you default on the loan. Now we have lost the asset.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Tell us about some mistakes that business owners make in general and with money feeding the business when they have an actual 9 to 5 as well.
Well, say that second part again. With money feeding the business?
Right. And when they actually still have a 9 to 5.
what are some of the problems with having a 9-to-5 in the business?
Yeah, like some mistakes that they make as a business owner. So they have their business, but then they still have their 9-to-5.
Okay. The first mistake is going to be, well, I'm not a big business. I'm just going to see where this is going to go. So I'm just going to be out here doing business. And then if the business takes off, if I become big, then I'll form my entity. Okay. So if you're just starting out and you work a 9-to-5 and you're going to have a side hustle, you probably have a home. You probably have money in the bank, and you probably have a car. So if you're just doing your side business as you, or you go and get a DBA, or you're a sole proprietor, whatever you want to call it, your house, the money in your bank, and your vehicles, that's what's being exposed to potential creditors, okay? So from the beginning, no matter how small your business is, I'm just thinking about starting a business, I'm only working it 1 day a month, it's not making any money, you still want to form an entity to separate the business from you. Number one. Number two, you want to make sure you have your entity to reserve your business name. Okay. So a lot of times I've had people be in business 15, 20 years. Until they finally come around, to, hey, let me go ahead and make this thing, a real business. And then now their name is taken from, someone's already used their name for a business. So now I have to go and rebrand all my packaging, and I have to go by a different name. There's something called goodwill, right? If I'm driving down the street and I see the golden arches, I know that's McDonald's without seeing the word McDonald's on the bottom. So when you start building up your business, when you start getting customers that know you by your business name, it's called establishing goodwill. If McDonald's, lost the right to use their name, and they had to have a whole new logo, whole new name, but they had the exact same recipes. If you're driving down the street and you see yellow box, fast food, you're probably not going to stop because you're looking for McDonald's. So if you have to now go and rebrand, repackage, remarket your whole business, now we're kind of losing the goodwill with our customers, and it's going to cost us more money. Another thing I see with people who are starting a business and have a 9-to-5 is sometimes they don't take that side hustle as serious because they have that safety net, or they have that, they are comfortable in their job. Now, if you're like, hey, this is my job, I want to keep my job because I like my job, I like my benefits, I just want to have a side hustle, that's one thing. But there are some people who are really like, I have this job because it pays my bills, but if I could get what my little baby over here, if I can get her going, I would rather have my business baby than my job. But because all my bills are paid for and I'm comfortable, I may not work my business every weekend. I may not work my business every night. I may kind of just be on cruise control with what I really want to do because I'm comfortable. So I always say, make yourself uncomfortable. I'm not saying quit your job, right? But mentally act like I'm not going to make this money. Mentally act like I have to get, in 90 days, this business needs to be making $1,000 a month. Mentally put yourself in a situation of lack so that you will not just let the side business be a side business 5 years from now when this really could be your bread and butter if that's what you're wanting it to do. And then the last mistake I see is, we'll form an LLC, but I'm going to put 3 different businesses in the same LLC and just get a DBA for all the other businesses, right? But I only have one LLC. The problem with this is if I have Joy's Lashes, Joy's Barbecue, and Joy's Boutique all in one LLC, and let's say I put too much lash glue in someone's eye and she turns blind and she sues me, she now can touch all the money from my other businesses. So you don't want to have one LLC with a whole bunch of different businesses under that one entity structure, because that's how you're going to allow potential creditors to access the funds, the cash flow, the assets of other businesses. So I would say those would be the top mistakes I see.
Okay. I want to add this piece to it and see your thoughts of this. What about people putting money from the job, their 9 to 5, into their business account?
Are they putting money from their job in their business account to do something for the business, or are they just putting the money from their job into their business account? If you're putting money from your job into your business account to fund something for the business, that's fine. We just need to document the funds that you're doing that with. So let's say in a year, I put $10,000 into my business from my 9 to 5, salary. And I am working on getting inventory, my website, some professional things done. I would want to notate that $10,000 on either a capital contribution agreement or an LLC loan agreement. A capital contribution agreement means I'm putting this money in and I don't need it back. I'm going to kind of just invest this money in my business. An LLC loan agreement is saying I'm going to put the money in my business, but when the business starts making money, I want this money back. Either form is fine, but this form needs to get to our CPA at the end of the year, because let's say our business made $80,000 in profit, right? We have $80,000 in income plus the 10 we put in is now $90,000. Well, we don't want to have to pay a tax on the money that we just moved from our personal account to our business account. So that capital contribution form or that LLC loan agreement will let your CPA know, hey, although there's $90,000 in the account, 10 of it came from a personal account. So we're going to take that 10 out. So now taxes will only be levied out on that 80%, not the full 90. On the flip side, if we're just putting money in the account and it's just kind of sitting there, it's not really doing anything unless you're trying to work on, getting some kind of business funding, and then you're trying to show how the business has revenue. But a better way of getting it in the bank, getting it in that account would be to make some transactions. So if your business has a point of sale system, make it like someone bought a consultation, someone bought a product, be able to have invoices and receipts that match whatever's going in. So it looks like there's some activity, not just one lump sum and it's just sitting there. If you have activity going on, it makes it look more realistic that you are running a business.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And then you had another question manifest. So do you recommend that a business owner has multiple accounts or just one business account?
For their business, I recommend 4 different accounts. So the first account, and this is going to be to manage cash flow. Okay. So when you're running your business, it's hard to manage money that's going in and out of the same account. Sometimes a vendor or an employee may hold a check. Sometimes that's how people save money, right? It's my birthday in 90 days. I'm going to hold my paycheck, and then 2 to 4, I'm going to go cash this paycheck. If you're not on your books, on every transaction, you may forget that this check is outstanding. Or a vendor may have lost your check. They found it, 3 months later, and they go and cash the check. Well, if we have our income coming in the same account that's going out, this is going to be a way for us to come up short or have a negative daily balance. And in business banking, we can never have a negative daily balance, meaning insufficient funds, right? Okay. Or a chargeback may come. So we want to have separate accounts. The first account will be your income account. So all your income, so your cash deposits, your credit card deposits, all of that will be in your income account. Your second account will be your operating or your expense account. You're going to have a check card to this account. You're going to have checks to this account. And you're going to pay all of your bills out of your expense or your operating account. All 4 accounts should be at the same bank. So we can kind of just do bank account transfers for no fee. So depending on how your cash flow is, whether you're hey, every day I got to move some money over, or I can move money over weekly, or I can just do one lump sum a month. We're going to move the money from our income account to our expense account. And then we're going to pay our bills out of there. So we know if I write a check for $100, I'm putting $100 in here. There's no chargeback that's going to come out of our expense account to throw anything off, and then our rent check is now balancing. So expense account is going to be just expenses. Third is going to be your payroll account. So you're going to write all your payroll for either your employees or your independent contractors out of this account. Employees will be slick. Employees can add a couple zeros, move a comma. Employees can also just make up checks that have your business information on it. So we don't need $1,000 employee, changing a couple things, making it a $10,000 check. And now your income account is negative. Now we can't pay our rent. Now we can't buy supplies. Now our business can't sustain itself. It's easier to tell the employees, hey, so-and-so done wrote a fake check, so your check's going to bounce. Just give me whatever is going to be your return check fee. I have a cashier's check for you, versus trying to explain to your landlord why you don't have money. You got to wait, 14 days until the check cash in place, clears it with your bank, and they refund you the money. Then the fourth account you should have is going to be your tax/savings account. So every industry is going to have like a busy season or a high cash flow season and a slow season. So on your busy seasons, you want to be able to kind of push money aside, either in your savings account, for a rainy day, for those skim months, that you may need help on paying the rent or paying bills. We already have a stash over here. Or if we do have a tax liability at the end of the year, we at least have something that we can kind of put towards that tax liability instead of coming up with the money all at one time.
Okay. All right. Can you give us some money management and business credit advice?
Money management. Money management is going to first start with your personal expenses. Okay. So if we are a business owner and we're not working a 9-to-5, we don't have that comfort. We don't have that security blanket of knowing every 2 weeks I'm going to get X amount of money, right? So I always tell people, take your bank statements for the last 90 days and write down everything you spent your money on different categories so that we know where our money is going. A lot of times we're making money. We're also making more money than we really need to live off of, but we don't know where the money's going, right? And I tell people all the time, you bleed faster with smaller expenses. So how many times do you go to Starbucks a day? If you go to Starbucks if you spend $5 a day at Starbucks and you go 5 days a week, that's going to be $100 a month just at Starbucks, right? That's going to be $1,200 a month, $1,200 a year that we're spending just on Starbucks. But are we really going just once a day? Are we going once in the morning, once in the afternoon? Are we getting a drink and something else? What are we spending on DoorDash? What are we spending on going out of town? So make categories of what you're spending your money on, and then you set an amount that you want to put toward that, right? So if I average $10,000 a month on what I'm bringing in with my business, we'll try to live off of 8. So you have $2,000 every month going into your savings account. If I'm living off of 8, well, how much am I allowing myself for maintenance expenses, right? Nails, lashes, hair, or if you're a guy, haircuts, how much am I allowing myself for eating out? If you just eat out whenever you want to eat out, we're just spending our money. We don't know where it's going. We're not putting any kind of parameters on it. It's not going to rain. It's not going to be sunny every single day. We're going to need, some months are going to be skim, and we have to now go pull from something. If there's nothing to pull from, well, this is how we go belly up. So assigning an amount of money that we're going to spend on each area of our life. So entertainment, maintenance expenses, gas, groceries, eating out, entertainment. If you do make more than the $10,000, so let's just say this month, it's the holidays, we doubled our sales. Great. That doesn't mean I get to go spend that extra money, right? You can either do a percentage like, hey, if I double my money, I'm going to take 10% or 20% of that, and I'm going to just do me with that. But the rest goes into that tax/savings account because a rainy day is going to happen, or you may get an opportunity, right? If we're talking about people in the music industry, well, what if you have an opportunity to go meet Beyonce, right? But you have to be in Vegas, or you have to be, let me give it a real place. We have to be in Dubai in 48 hours, right? Well, do you have an extra $10,000 to go buy you a ticket real quick and, get you a hotel to go have this opportunity? Or, well, I don't have no money, so you missed the opportunity. That's why you got to have this money saved up for a rainy day. When you miss the opportunity of a lifetime, that Chanel bag doesn't mean the same thing. That trip you done said on Instagram, it don't mean the same, because had I not gone on that trip, I could have now got my ticket to Dubai to go meet Beyonce and have this meeting, blah, blah, blah. So you want to make sure that we know, hey, I'm spending less than what I'm making. And when I do have an influx, I'm assigning that influx to something. If you're wanting to do something, hey, it's my birthday in 4 months, I want to go somewhere, make you a vacation account, right? So every week, every month, I'm putting $100 over here towards my vacation. Well, if it's slow for 4 months, come that 6 months, I got $500. Well, I guess I'm not going on vacation. I'm not going to take from my savings, because that's for business reasons. That's for emergencies. Me going on vacation is an emergency, right? But if we don't assign where our money's going, we're just spending it. $100 here, $200 here, $1,000 here. Pretty soon, if we're spending, and we're not re-upping, we're now going to be broke, and we don't understand how we got broke. So it's really hard to, especially if you don't have the safety net of every 2 weeks I'm getting X amount of money. You got to assign where your money is going, and always be living underneath what you make on average.
Well put. Well put. It made me think of another question with the way you broke that down. Mm-hmm. Is business credit repairable?
Yes. Business credit is repairable, and it's easier to repair than personal credit, right? So in personal credit, you happen to pay a bill late, it's like, baby, it's just like a death sentence, right? Where in business credit, if you pay a bill late, all we need to do is make another order in that same tier. So in business credit, we're going to have 4 tiers. You're going to have your tier 1 accounts, which would be your net 30 accounts. These vendors are going to give your business credit without having anything but an LLC, EIN, and a DUNS number. And you're going to order things from their site, and you're going to pay them in 30 days. Once you get about 5 to 7 of those accounts, you're going to then establish a business credit score called a Paydex score. Okay. Once you get a Paydex score of like an 80, and we have these first level accounts reporting to our business credit report, then we can go to tier 2. Tier 2 is going to be your store credit cards, right? So cards that you can use at a certain store. So Best Buy, Lowe's, Home Depot. Once you get a certain amount of those cards reporting, then we go to tier 3, which would be your cash credit cards, Chase, American Express, Capital One. Once you get enough of those accounts reporting, now we can walk into the bank and we can get a line of credit or a loan. If I were to charge something on my Best Buy account and I'm late, all I need to do is go make another order in that same tier and pay that order on time. Business credit looks at how many payments you have and how many of them are on time. If you make another payment in that same tier that you were late on, it's going to kind of offset that late payment you had. Where in personal credit, you can make one late payment and make all the rest of it on time. It's not going to offset it. So it's different on the business side than on the personal side.
That kind of I'm sorry about that. That kind of brings me to my next question. And you kind of answered it, but I just wanted to be direct for the person.
Okay.
She touched it. How do the artists and business owners start to build their business credit?
So the first thing, we got to have our business structure, right? So you got to have your LLC. It needs to be active. So every year, most states require your LLC to file an annual report. Some require you to file a report and pay a fee. If you don't file the report or file the report and pay the fee, then your LLC is going to be deemed inactive. So it's like you don't have an LLC. So you got to have an active LLC. We need to have a business address on our LLC. If you don't have a brick and mortar, then we need to get a virtual address, right? So you can look at Regis, Opus, Alliance, physicaladdress.com. We want to have a business address on our LLC documents. And then we got to have our EIN and business bank account and a DUNS number or a Dun & Bradstreet number. Dun & Bradstreet is going to be the largest business credit bureau. Okay, so on the personal side, there's Equifax, there is TransUnion, and there's Experian. On the business side, it's Dun & Bradstreet, it's Small Business Experian, and Small Business Equifax. But Dun & Bradstreet is the biggest bureau. So once you get your Dun & Bradstreet number, you then can start applying to the Tier 1 vendors. These are going to be net 30 accounts that people are going to give you credit. So vendors like Quill, Granger, Shirtsy, who else? The T-shirt club. Nothing fun, right? But these are who you need to start establishing business credit. Business credit is going to be like going to school. No matter how smart your kindergartner is, they cannot go from kindergarten to being a senior in high school. Okay, they got to at least finish elementary school, then they got to go to middle school, and then they can go to high school. The problem is we get an LLC and we go right to the bank to try to get a loan. Well, you got to first establish business credit. So when you get your LLC, your EIN, your business bank account, and your Dun & Bradstreet number, you are like an 18-year-old fresh out of high school. Can an 18-year-old with no credit out of high school walk into Mercedes and finance a $100,000 car? No. Why not? They don't have bad credit. They don't have bad credit, but they don't have any credit. So Mercedes doesn't know, are you going to pay this bill on time or not? That's the same for your business. You got to show these vendors that, hey, I will pay my bills on time. Well, how do you show them that? You first start at step 1, which would be your Tier 1 net 30 accounts. You're going to order things. You're going to pay them on time. Actually pay them 10 days early, because on business credit, they're looking at early payments are like good on-time payments are like, oh, okay, she did the bare minimum. Okay, so you want to order things on the net 30 accounts to then generate a Paydex score. That's going to be your business credit score. Then once you go through Tier 1, you'll then go through Tier 2, your store credit cards, purchase things, pay it off early, have it report to your business credit bureau. You can check your business credit report by going on an app called nav.com, nav.com. It will kind of serve as like Credit Karma, but for the business credit. If you get the paid subscription, it'll show you your business credit score on all 3 bureaus. So on Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian. So then once you generate a score in your Tier 2, now we can go to Tier 3 and apply for our cash credit cards. But you got to do everything in order. We're going to need to have our entity structure. We got to have our business bank account. We got to have our business address. We got to now have digital footprints, right? So post all of this pandemic fraud, they're no longer accepting a home business. They're no longer accepting a business that doesn't have a website. They're going to go, underwriters going to go and check. They're going to Google your business, what pops up. A website needs to pop up. Business social media needs to pop up. We need to be listed. We need to have a business phone and a business address. Everything needs to be consistent. So the phone and address on my social media should match the same phone and address on my website. We got to be listed in 411. So these are all that kind of like, structure things as far as getting our business credit ready, so that when we do start applying for these trade lines, we'll get approved.
Okay. All right. I like that. You broke that down. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So how important is an operating agreement for a business owner?
And thank you. I missed that one. An operating agreement is very important. Operating agreement is going to be the contract for your LLC. It's going to determine how your LLC is ran. If there is more than one member or owner of the LLC, the operating agreement will serve as the partnership agreement. It's also like a corporate formality. Like it's just a way of dotting your I's, crossing your T's. If you were to get sued, the first thing they're going to subpoena is the operating agreement. So once you form your LLC, have the operating agreement, just keep that in your folder with your corporate documents just to have, so that you have the contract that runs your business.
Okay. Another question for you, because you just putting them out there. You shoot them out there. I'm like, okay, come on now, queen. How do we find and structure for grants? Is it the same business structure for business credit?
Grants, you don't have to have as much. Okay, I'll say like this. For grants, you don't have to have as much to apply, right? But I always teach, we don't want to apply for a business grant. We want to stand out as we apply for a business grant. Okay, so to apply for a business grant, you got to have an LLC, EIN, and business bank account. But if you want your application to stand out, we should kind of go ahead and get our structure together. So number one, we need to have a branded email address. So info@yourbusinessname.com. Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, iCloud, me.com. All of these personal email addresses are not considered a business email. So CEO@gmail.com is not a business email. You need to go to GoDaddy.com. And I think you got to pay like $2 or $3 a month, but they're going to charge you for the year. So you're going to pay between like $24 or $36 to have a branded email address. So joy@mybusinessname.com, customer service@mybusinessname.com, info@mybusinessname.com. We want to have a branded email address. We want to have some kind of digital footprint. So a website, if we're not yet ready for a website, at least give me a landing page, like a one-page website. It'll have your logo, your email, your phone number, a little something about like either, website reloading or new marketing coming soon, or just give me a one-pager. So when they're Googling your business name, things are popping up. We also want to have a business social media. So not your personal page, but your business on it. You want to have a separate business social media with your logo on there for your profile pic. So when the underwriting is looking at your business, everything is, in your branded colors. Everything's about your business. It looks nice and clean, okay? They're not seeing you in Tukey two-step, at the Thanksgiving dinner. So you can promote your business on your business page, on your personal page, but you need to have a separate business page. And then you don't have to have a virtual address if it's not in the budget, but they will Google your address. I just think it makes you just look, just like all the way together. So that's how you can kind of make your grant application stand out, by at least having these basic things. And then the most important thing is, why do you need this money and what you're going to do with the money? A lot of people think a business grant is for, let me give a sob story. Let me give how I'm about to close my doors. Let me give how I don't have no money. I need this help. Like it's a nonprofit, where a business grant, they're looking to help a business that can take this money and double it, can take this money and make more money. So make sure we're asking for things that can make us money. Catching up on bills, reimbursing yourself for what you spent money on, that can't make us any money, right? Payroll for other people, like to help with the admin of running the business, remodeling expenses, moving from a small office to a big office, or moving from, doing things at home to either a commercial kitchen or some kind of commercial storefront, marketing expenses, inventory, equipment. What does your business need right now that can make you money? We may need to get a patent, right? We may need to get a trademark. We may need some attorney's fees. Like all of these things will help us make money. So you want to ask for things that are going to make money. And then you also want to make sure that you are making your business stand out. If you are old, if you are experienced, you want to speak about how much experience you have, not just in this business, in life. Okay, so let's just say I'm 50 years old, I just retired, and I am starting a trucking company, right? Well, I may only have been in trucking for 2 years, but I worked for the past 30 years at the post office. Well, if you can work somewhere for 30 years, that shows stability. That shows you can come to work on time. That shows you can follow orders. That shows, that you are reliable. So although you're only 1 year in on trucking, you're 30 years in the work environment. I'm confident that you will at least show up for your business versus someone who's saying, hey, I want to start this business. I'm 18, and fresh out of high school. On the flip side, if we're 18 and fresh out of high school, we want to focus on what are our strengths. Like, so, hey, I know what all the newest technology is. I know what's innovative. I just graduated college. I know what all the new laws are and blah, 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 blah. I'm fresh. I'm innovative. I'm new. I see a problem and it's not being fixed right, and I know how to fix it. So whatever are your strengths as the CEO, and then also your business. So why did you start your business? Are you solving a problem? Is there a problem that's not being solved that you feel efficiently in the area, so you started this? Are you solving it in a different way? Are you more affordable? Are you more expensive and you have more expertise? Like, what makes your business different than everyone else? What makes you unique? And whatever that is, you want to explain that to them so that when a person's reading your application, they're like, whoa, this person is really into their business. They are different in this way. They're helping this out. So I know this person's going to do something with this money, because at the end of the year, they need an aha story. Hey, we gave this person $10,000 and they opened a new location. We gave this person $100,000 and they have 3 locations. They bought some equipment, so they have to go now and run back to the donors and say, hey, you gave us this money. Look what business A did and business B did and business C did. Now, can we get some more money? So it's all about writing your grant to put your best foot forward, whatever your best foot is, right? And so I have a grant bundle that will give you the link to 900 different business grants. And the thing about business grants is the application is going to be online. So you're literally just typing in whatever are the questions that they're asking. It's not like writing a nonprofit grant where it's now a 20-page grant proposal. They're going to ask you why you start your business. So why did you quit your job and start your business? Why did you start a business and you're working your job? Why are you doing this? Why do you need the money? What impact is your business doing in the community? And what are you going to use the money for? Those 5 questions, we just need to go ahead and come up with an answer, because that's what they're going to be asking. They're not worried about grammar. They don't need you to sound like an English major. They understand that you're in your business. So if you're a chef, you're the best chef. You're the mechanic, you're the best mechanic. They aren't expecting these big words, but they want to feel the passion. They want to be able to connect with you as a business owner. They want to feel confident that if I give you this money, you're going to go do something with it. So I tell people all the time, the best person to sell your baby is you. So if you apply for 5 to 10 grants every single month, number 1, you're going to get comfortable with applying with the application process. Number 2, we're now increasing our chances of winning a grant. If I apply for the grant one time and don't get it, it's like the more you apply, the more you increase your likelihood of winning. So if I win $10,000 in December, another $10,000 in April, another $10,000 in July, I just got $30,000 of money that I don't have to pay back. That's not going to affect my cash flow. That I don't have to, have business credit or tax returns or finance. I don't have to have any of that. All I have to do is explain to them how my business is unique, why I need the money, and how I'm going to use it. So it's a great way of getting capital into your business that you don't have to pay back.
Wow. Okay. Here's a question. How are corporate veils pierced?
Corporate veils are pierced by not following the corporate formalities. Okay, so number one, like I said earlier, our corporate structure, so our LLC or corporation, it needs to be active. So if we don't file our annual report or we don't pay the fee, then the state will terminate our LLC and now it's inactive. Another way of piercing the corporate veil is commingling funds. So I have business funds going to my personal Cash App and Zelle. I have personal funds coming into my business account. I'm swapping my business credit card, my business check card for nails, lashes, just having fun shopping, right? Personal expenses. So if this is you and you form your LLC, although you own the LLC, you want to keep these two things separate. If they say, well, yeah, you formed all this stuff, but we look at the bank account, it's like one big piggy bank. It's like you're paying for your mortgage, you're paying for all these personal expenses out of your business account. We don't think you really have a business. We just think it's just you. And so when they pierce the corporate veil, they basically undo that LLC or corporation. So then you lose your asset protection, you lose everything, and now what they're trying to do is come get your personal assets. Another way of piercing the corporate veil is not having the proper licenses, permits, and insurance. So depending on whatever your industry is, certain industries require you to have certain insurance coverages. You may have to be bonded. You may have to have a permit. If you're operating in an industry and you don't have the proper license, permit, or insurance coverage, well, then you're going to be deemed, not following the corporate formalities, and they can pierce the corporate veil. So those would be like the top 3 ways of piercing the corporate veil and then losing the benefit of having your LLC or corporation.
Okay. Wow. That's mine. Yeah. Personally, for myself, I'm thinking look at this something we just said. I need to look at this something you said. So if an artist wanted to buy a vehicle or a tour bus to tour, how do they go by getting that in their business name?
Now, when we're talking about vehicle financing or a line of credit, after establishing business credit, it's going to be based on the revenue that the artist is bringing in. So if I were to personally go to Ford to get a car, they're going to want to know my proof of income and how long I've been working, right? Well, the same is for a business. So if you walk into Mercedes-Benz to get a Sprinter, okay, well, can the business afford this line of credit that you're asking for? They're going to ask for the last 90 days of bank statements. There can be no negative balance in the last 90 days, and how much money is going into the business bank account. Is there enough money going in and enough money at the end of the month left in the account to cover the note? If I'm making $5,000 to $10,000 a month, I'm probably not going to get financed for $100,000 Sprinter van because I don't have enough income to carry or to manage that debt. So when it comes to getting your hands on money, like real money, as far as like getting a car, getting a line of credit, getting a loan, it's going to be based on establishing that business credit score, like I told you, and having the revenue to show that I can afford it. If you want to kind of make that process go faster, you personally can be a PG or a personal guarantor saying, hey, we'll use your credit score, but we're going to just tie you to this loan. If you're wanting to go strictly just in the business name, you're going to have business credit and business revenue to sustain the amount of the debt.
Okay. So you're full of your spirit is awesome, and you just got so much wisdom. What keeps you going, Joy? What keeps you, the woman, going?
What keeps me going? You know what? What keeps me going, number one, is my son. I have a little son. He's 10. He's bad, but he's my little baby. I'm gonna tell you how wonderful he is, although he's bad. And I want my son to, be all that he can be, but I want my son to not have to start from home base. I want him to kind of already be a step ahead. So what motivates me to keep working so that I can establish, a business. I can establish something that when he gets out of high school or gets out of college, he already, has some work ethic, done. He understands, you got to get up early, you got to stay late. Like sometimes I make him help me like do some of these videos. Like you have to work. I want my son to have a great life and not have to, what we would say, get it out of the mud, right? He can already start somewhere. Number 2, my son saw me go through a little domestic violence. And so I want to make sure that I show him that mommy is strong and that mommy is an overcomer. So yes, you saw some things that you probably shouldn't have seen. But when bad things happen to you, we don't just stay in what happened and we're a victim and oh my gosh, we can be an overcomer because in life, something will happen to him, and I need to be the example of how to be an overcomer and always seeing the good in things, and then so that he can do the same thing. And then number 3, I don't want to have to depend on nobody. Okay, so growing up, my parents got divorced my sophomore year in college. And my mom's life drastically changed because, she was a stay-at-home mom. We were middle class, and now she went from, doing whatever she wanted to do to now, having to work, having to dust off a resume from not working for about 20 something years. She had like a little roommate and I was like, I don't ever want to be financially dependent on someone because I don't want my lifestyle to change just because I'm no longer with that person. So making sure that whatever Joy wants, Joy can get whenever she wants it is another big motivating factor for me.
I love that. That's really motivating. I love that. Whatever Joy wants, Joy can get. I love that. In closing, Joy, what piece of advice would you want to give to the next young lady, young man that would like to get into this line of work that you do so well?
I would say it is dangerous out here in these business streets. Okay, it's dangerous out here. It is real out here. It is eat or get eaten, kill or be killed. Okay, so whatever you decide to do, make sure that you understand what you're getting into. Make sure that you read whatever they're wanting you to sign on the dotted line. Invest in hiring an attorney to look over things so that you understand what it is that you're signing, especially in the music industry. Everyone's trying to get signed to a label. So the second someone comes your way, you sign the dotted line. Then you turn out to be, the next sensation. You're everywhere. Well, now they robbed me. I gotta do 80 deals to get out this contract. That's what you signed. Like, didn't no one put a gun to your head and tell you to sign that? That's what you signed. But see, when you signed it, you thought your value was one thing. Now you realize you sold yourself short, right? So never make a decision on where you are right now, because wherever you are right now, it's just the beginning. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. So everything you do, like, hey, I'm entering into this contract. I really want this deal. I really want this partnership. But is this the best thing for me in the long run? What am I giving up in exchange for getting this? And am I okay with that? And a lot of times we're so excited to get the quick dollar that we miss out on the long residual money. And so I want to make sure that people understand before you go sign that dotted line, everyone who's smiling in your face, everyone who's selling you the dream, baby, they are smiling in your face and selling your dream. And behind their back is the knife that they're going to just jab in you as they're smiling. And that's called business. So when you jump out here, understand what you're jumping into.
Woo, that was heavy. That was heavy, Joy. You was preaching with that last piece of advice, and I think it's very solid advice.
In the streets, we're going to at least give you a mask. We're going to give you a gun. We're going to at least scare you, right? So you at least scared for your life. In business, they're going to smile. You're going to be at a 5-star restaurant, a dinner, and they're going to slide that death sentence across the table and kiss your kids. That's business.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I got it. I think y'all got it. And it's very fruitful. I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule. I know you're very busy.
No problem.
For in the panel and just dropping the jewels as you did today. And I look forward to the next time we get to be able to share space with you.
And baby, you are just fabulous with this little hat and these pearls. I just love your whole little look, sis.
Well, thank you, Queen.
Mm-hmm.
You're giving me all this vibes. Just like, I'm like, come on now, just all polished. Yes, I appreciate you, and I look
no
forward
problem.
to the next time.
All right, have a good one.
Wonderful day. You
Bye.
Too, thank you. Bye. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, I told you, you work.
Hey, y'all. See, I got a busy day today, so I will save this live. If y'all chimed in a little late, I will save this live. Because I haven't gone live in a couple of days. So I will save this one just regular. I won't just save it for the subscriber. I'll save it for everyone. So if y'all miss any of those business grant or business structure tips, I got y'all, okay? Well, I'm on to my next meeting, but I will, of course, see y'all at the bank.